Hello everyone, and welcome back to Module 1, where we have been learning to spice up our pages, and we have worked on setting up a tabbed page as well as an accordion page. And now I'm going to show you how to edit those pages. So I'm going to come to the template page here, and I'm going to choose Edit. And you see this shows me what it would look like. I can click to the HTML view, and that's where we copied and pasted the code in here. So there's two different views. I'm going to go back to the rich content view, and I want to show you that these things here that are blue and highlighted, when I hover over them, they become underlined. Those are the things that we have to edit within the HTML editor. The things down here that are not blue or highlighted, we can go ahead and edit those directly from this page. So I'm going to change the names of all of my tabs. I'm going to go to the HTML editor, and I'm going to look here. This first thing tells me what the tabs are, and we've got a fragment 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see it says 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we come back here, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to actually just come in here and change those to be chapter 1, chapter 2, and then I'm going to put chapter 3 in here. And finally chapter 4. And we can click back to the rich content editor, and we see that those changes have been made here. And if I click save, we'll be able to see, good, my tabs here are chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Now I have another subheading down here called tab 1, and so I'm going to change these as well. And I'm back in my HTML, I'm back in my rich content editor. My HTML editor is hanging out over here. You can see tab 1. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to make it consistent. So I'm going to change that to be, I'm just going to highlight and change chapter 1. I'm going to do that for the rest of these. And 3. And finally 4. Oops. You can see I came out of my box here, so I want to come back into here and say chapter 4. So let's see what that did. We'll click save. And you can see here it's kind of updated those things. So chapter 2, yep. Chapter 3, consistent, yep. Okay. So now if we want to change the content, we're going to come in here. And again, we're just going to work in here. So I want to put a link in here to another page, and I can do that in Canvas if I've already created the page. I'm going to put a link to the objectives for this chapter. So I'm going to do module 1. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to delete all of that content. Then I'm going to click my objectives. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to say save. Now my first tab has a link to another page. And it's beautiful, it took me to that other page. So I'm going to go back. And you can see it's pretty easy, it's pretty straightforward. I can go back and I want to make chapter 2 link to, let's say, an assignment of some sort. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pick quizzes. And if I've already created the quiz, I can just come up here, click it, and it'll put a link into that. Another thing I can do that we did in our other tab pages was to link it to a video. So I'm going to come up here to public resources, and I'm going to go to Vimeo. And I know that Vimeo hosts the Canvas content, so I'm going to look for Canvas pages. And I think there's a tutorial page here from Canvas, and it shows me how to make a page. Yeah, let's add that one. So we're going to select that one. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to embed that, and I'm going to do a medium-sized embed. And you see it's in there, so I'm going to click save. I'm going to click on chapter 3 and voila, my video is right in there. So you can see once you go through the first bit of it, changing the tabbed headings and then going through each page, you can click and really just add content into it very easily as you do a normal page. Okay, so that's the tabbed page, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to do the exact same thing with the accordion. So I'm going to click edit, and I can see these are blue and underlined, so that tells me I have to edit it over here. And so content accordion, I find where it says section 1, and I'm just going to highlight that and change it to chapter 1. And then I'm going to come down here, find section 2. It's going to be chapter 2 because we want to be consistent with our naming. And then I'm coming to 3, chapter 3. And I'm going to click save. I like to make small changes and then save and then go back and see and save and go back and see. So good. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And since I have very little content in here, it works nice to click on them. The other ones fold up once I click and select one. So I'm going to come back in here to edit, and I'm going to do probably the same thing. I'm going to try to, this is chapter 1. You can see I'm in these confines of this block. There's nothing in here that's blue, so I can work right in the rich content editor. I'm going to come here and highlight that, and I'm going to link it to the page. And we did module 1 objectives. And I did the same exact mistake as I did last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say cancel on that. And I'm going to come back in here and edit. I'm glad you get to see my mistakes because that helps all of us learn. So I'm going to come in here. I wanted to take this out, so I really need to highlight and delete. And then come in here and select the page that I wanted. And actually, I don't think that's going to work either. So I'm going to say okay. Come back in here. And I'm going to take most of this out. Let's see. And let me come in here and select my page. So I'm going to come in here, module 1. And you see it's a lot of playing back and forth. Try this, try that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can always click cancel and then come back and try it again. So I'm going to do my objectives. So now I've highlighted my objectives. They're in there. I'm going to take the rest of that wording out and I'm going to say save. Perfect. So now I have chapter 1 and the objectives are here and it links to there. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do the same thing with chapter 2. I'm going to take that content out. Oops. And I'm going to come in here and choose that same quiz, module 1. I've got an extraneous letter here, so I'm going to take that out. I'm going to say save. And if I click on chapter 2, yep, it's going to take me to that quiz. Perfect. And then I'll show you the last part of that was to add a video. So we're going to go to chapter 3. We're going to take out the content that's in there. And we're going to click our public resources, back to Vimeo. And we're going to choose Canvas Pages. And scroll down, find my video. That was it. I'm going to say edit, pop it in there. Take out this extraneous letter, and I'm going to say save. Okay, so what happens here is because my chapter 3 has a big element in it, it has this video, all of the other accordions will default to the same size. So you'll see chapter 2 has this huge space in here. Chapter 1 now has this huge space, and even though that space isn't being used up, it's just how the formatting is for the accordion template. It has to stay the same size as the largest accordion. So this is kind of a drawback to using the accordion over the tabbed page, because if you're very nitpicky about keeping things consistent in the same size, this will pose a problem because you'll have these bigger ones. But when you go to like the syllabus in our course, you'll see that in the tabbed items, we can have a lot more information, and the size doesn't really matter. So think about that when you're designing. The differences between having a tab versus having the accordion page. And that's all I wanted to show you. It should be simple. If you have questions, reach out and let me know. Otherwise, keep working. Thank you.